Hello everybody, happy Monday to you. Ethan Steeper here with Steeper Weather Forecasting. We had a long-range video today. We're going to talk about some severe weather chances for the day on Wednesday, that's June 18th. And then we're going to talk about some heat and humidity that's going to build into the area towards the end of this week, into the weekend, and into next week. So let's dive right in. We'll talk about some severe weather. Right on your screen is the Storm Prediction Center outlook for Wednesday, June 18th. Has the entire area in a slight risk. And if we turn on the probabilities there, you notice that's that 15% risk for everyone highlighted in that yellow shaded area. The Colorado State University machine learning model agrees with that, except it puts us in an enhanced risk. That's that red area, red shading right there. Primary threats here is going to be damaging winds. Tornado threat is really, really low. Hail threat is really, really low. So we're kind of transitioning as we go into June and July and August. We don't have as much of a tornado threat. We kind of transition to those damaging winds and straight line wind threat. If we time this out on future radar for you, we can show you what that's going to look like. We'll pick this up at 4 p.m. this afternoon. A lot of severe weather will be happening out in the plain states the next couple days, and that's what's going to eventually shift this way. So if we go hour by hour into the future, notice big thunderstorm development this evening into the overnight hours that will redevelop tomorrow in portions of Iowa and northern Illinois. And as we go into the overnight hours on Wednesday, and here's now Wednesday at midnight. Watch, there's some showers and thunderstorms off here in Kansas and Nebraska. That will also carry some severe weather threats with it. That is what will eventually work its way off to the east and kind of interact with our area. So as we go later on into the daytime hours, that energy, notice the storms have kind of died down, but the energy is still there. As we go later on, this is now about 10 a.m. Wednesday morning. Everything looks good. It's going to be warm. It's going to be humid. And that's going to add fuel for the thunderstorm development later in the afternoon. So here now is 4 p.m. Notice a couple thunderstorms starting to pop up in central and northern Illinois. But watch as we go just a couple hours later. Here's now 7 p.m. A lot of individual thunderstorm development right along the I-70 corridor, and then we have this big Boeing segment to worry about closer towards St. Louis. These segments, when you see them on radar, are more indicative of damaging winds rather than a tornado threat or anything like that. So that's why we kind of think damaging wind threats are going to be the biggest threat to worry about. And of course, this can change a little bit between now and Wednesday, so stay tuned for updates there. But why we have fairly good confidence in this, first off, is the lifted index. Remember, this is how buoyant the atmosphere is, how much warm air can rise. And the more it can rise, the lower these numbers are, the more buoyant it is and the stronger the thunderstorms can get. And by this is all for 7 p.m., right as this is starting to unfold, according to the 3-kilometer NAM. And it keeps us with a lifted index value of somewhere -9 to -10, maybe even -11, closer towards St. Louis. So the atmosphere is going to be very primed for some severe weather. The CAPE, or convective available potential energy, is also in that same boat. You know, we're north of 3,000 joules per kilogram, which is plenty of storm fuel to get the atmosphere going. And the wind shear as well, we'll have some of it in the thunderstorms. It's not going to be a bunch, but, 30 to 40 knots is plenty to kind of give us some of that severe weather. So stay tuned for updates on that. Things are still going to change, and we're going to hone in on some things. But exact timing, we're looking in the afternoon, late afternoon, really the evening into the overnight hours for the best chance of severe weather. And damaging winds look to be the primary threat there. So stay tuned for that. As we go later on into the weekend and into the first part of next week, heat and humidity, as I mentioned, are going to be the biggest talking points. So we'll pick this up. This is the 5 millibar temperature anomaly, basically just showing us the warm air versus the cold air in the atmosphere a little bit higher up. And so these big pockets of warm air indicate high pressure, warmer temperatures. Blue pockets indicate a little bit cooler air. So as we go into the future, notice here comes that Wednesday system through here on the early hours of Thursday morning as that storm front is starting to push through. Maybe a little bit cooler for that, but watch this high pressure ridge shift eastward and move in. What's going to happen as we go towards the weekend is we'll see a big dome of high pressure set up in the southeastern United States, and that's going to keep us warm and dry as we go into the first part of next week. And watch that heat just sits there and builds. Really, as we go into the good part of next week, here's now next Wednesday, and that heat and humidity is still there before maybe getting pushed out of here closer towards next weekend. That's the last weekend in June. And when I talk about warmer temperatures, I think the 90s are coming back, folks. These are forecast high temperatures for Friday. And notice, maybe mid 80s across the area. By Saturday, we're up into the 90s, upper 80s, lower 90s. Sunday is even warmer than that, say lower 90s for much of the area. And by Monday, similar picture, 90 degrees. 90-degree readings are going to be probably pretty much the norm by the time we hit Monday. And just to show you, here is forecasted heat index values as we go on the day on Monday, and we're pushing 100 for those heat index values. So bottom line, it's going to get warm and it's going to get humid as we go towards the end of this week and into next week. Last thing we'll leave you with is the 6 to 10 day Climate Prediction Center outlooks for temperature and precipitation. And here's the 6 to 10 day. This takes us all the way out to next Wednesday, June 25th. And again, much of the area, much of the eastern half of the country is in that above normal, above average temperatures. 8 to 14 day, it backs down just a little bit, but we're still looking at above normal temperatures here on the eastern half of the United States. Precip stays about equal chances as we go through the 6 to 10 day. That's until that Wednesday, June 25th. We start to increase precip chances, maybe turn back to a little bit more of an active weather pattern as we go towards the end of the month. So bottom line, it's going to be warm and it's going to be humid after we see some storms on Wednesday. Stay tuned for updates on that. I'm sure I'll have another video out tomorrow talking about more specifics for that. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for updates.